everybody, I have an announcement to make. We're expecting...
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Last week it was announced that Daisy Ridley would be returning to Star Wars as Rey Skywalker. Fans were surprised by this announcement, as Star Wars fans didn't generally like Rey or the sequel trilogy as a whole. But good news for them, more is coming. Not much is currently known about the film outside of the fact that it takes place 15 years after the rise of Skywalker, but there is this photo floating around which features a very pregnant Rey. Pregnancy is a very strange part of Star Wars. Anakin Skywalker was an immaculate conception. In Episode 1, his mother, Shmi Skywalker, said there was no father. By the time we got to Episode 3, it was believed that Palpatine created Anakin through the Force. Then there is the birth of Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. This was a standard birth outside of their mother dying of a broken heart. The joy of parenting is a myth in the Star Wars universe. This brings us to Episode 10, which is what we'll call it for now. Over the weekend, we learned much of Star Wars' future. After all the announcements, this photo began popping up online, with what appears to be a pregnant Rey Skywalker. Speculation began to run wilder than Hulkamania as they tried to figure out how Rey got pregnant. Was this an immaculate birth of the Force, like Anakin, or is there a father? Some fans are guessing it was the Force ghost of Kylo Ren who impregnated Rey. On the fringe of the Star Wars sequel trilogy was the Reylo movement. Reylos were a controversial part of the Star Wars community. Star Wars actor John Boyega had a Reylo run-in after he cracked a joke about the rise of Skywalker. John Boyega, like many of us, remembers that at one point in time, it sure seemed like perhaps Finn and Rey would end up together. Instead, Boyega has cracked jokes about this publicly after the rise of Skywalker premiered. On Instagram, he made a crack about Finn laying pipe in the wake of Ben's death, now that Rey was free. This set off a full flame war as Reylos attacked Boyega for this. Reylos claim he was being sexist. Boyega defenders note that he has had to deal with racist remarks about his possible relationship with Rey for 3 films now. But things got weird, as at one point a Twitter account with the avatar of a black woman called out Boyega as being ashamed of him and saying he was disgusting and representing them poorly. It turned out later that apparently this was a white fan simply donning a picture of a black woman. This is the ugly side of the Star Wars sequel trilogy fandom. If Rey is in fact pregnant, this is the sort of baggage that comes with the decision. Now, I'd like to take a moment to give my own 2 personal cents about this. I think the image is fake, for 2 reasons. 1, look at it. It's incredibly easy to Photoshop a picture. It looks like they took this photo of Padme and doctored it. Now, I'm not going to go much more into this part, but there is a bigger reason why I don't think this is real. There's no script for this movie. At this past weekend Star Wars celebration in London, Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, had this to say in regards to Star Wars Episode 10, Rey's Return. We've been working on this film for a few years now, and all of that feeds into our overall storytelling, says Kennedy. We just got to a point where we're getting a wonderful writer, Stephen Knight. He's come on board and we're going to see a script probably in the next month and a half that we've been working on for quite a while. So we're getting close. Knight took over writing duties on the movie after Lost creator Damon Lindelof stepped away from the project. So they haven't even done anything with the movie. They make all these announcements this early into the development and there's no script? Well, don't worry folks, we'll talk about that next time. But folks, I want to know what you think about this. 3 questions for today. 1, do you believe this image is real? 2, are you surprised there's no script? And 3, do you think this movie will actually get made? There are countless examples of Star Wars projects deep into the pipeline getting canceled for creative differences, according to those in charge at Lucasfilm. So is this another one of those films? Maybe, who knows? But the pregnant Rey image, I don't know where it came from. Who knows where it came from? The internet is where it came from. But if they do have a pregnant Rey in this film, it'll line up with what they are talking about, that Star Wars expects to have more female-focused stories in the future. And a pregnant Rey would line up with that perfectly. So folks, I'll be back next time with that video and a whole lot more. But in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. And check out the earlier video from today. I think you're gonna like it. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters, because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, That's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of world-class bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.